I am so excited. This deck is truly broken, and I've been working on this deck for a few days, and honestly, I would be a little bit surprised if Chatterstorm didn't end up being banned. For as little time as I've worked on this, it's actually fairly refined. And we're going to do a deck tech. We'll, explain why some things are in here, etc. We'll play a league, and you'll get to see how truly degenerate SquirrelStorm really is. And yeah, so let's start up at the top. We have Geothermal Crevice and Sulfur Vent. These are cards that I've played a lot of in Cycling Storm. Well, why are they good here? We could be running basic Swamp and basic Mountain, and that way we could open up the rare turn one hand. Those are certainly possible with this deck. Turn ones are on the menu. That said, they're not super probable. Or we can play these sack lands. Well, the first thing the sacrifice lands do is they mana fix. So each one of them gives you two on color combo cards, which means you at least get black red and then your tertiary color. So Geothermal Crevice is slightly better in this deck due to Chatterstorm and Manamorphose. And then Sulfur Vent gives you blue for a Serpentine Curve out of the board. But on top of color fixing for you, they go to the graveyard for Cabal Ritual, which is actually fairly important. So they help you increase threshold. Lotus Petal just makes a lot of sense in the Storm deck as a free initial mana source. We played in Legacy for a very good reason. Chromatic Star helps you filter your mana because sometimes you end up needing green mana or you need black mana, and that does have some value. The draw card does help you dig. This deck doesn't play any engines, so unlike Legacy Storm, there's no ad nauseum, no Echo of Aeons, nothing like that. In Pauper, we often run Ideas Unbound as our engine, but that's really just a glorified Night's Whisper. You could run Sign in Blood in this slot instead. Sign in Blood is a fine card, but there will be games where you can't cast a bunch of your spells because you're stuck with only red mana, and that becomes an issue. So I think Chromatic Star is slightly better. I would recommend playing some number of these. It doesn't need to be 4. You could run a 2-2 split with Sign in Blood. That would be acceptable. But I've found that I just think that Chromatic Star is better on average, so I am running the full set. You can also convert this blue mana into green mana if you need to, which is sort of nice, so I have experienced that as well. Faithless Looting, this could also be Sign in Blood. That said, the drawing with red mana I've actually had come up quite a bit, and this deck list is really balanced is one of the things. Like, I've put a lot of thought into it, and it just runs really smoothly. And Faithless Looting, it's great mid combo after you've cast Night's Whisper, after you've cast Chromatic Star and Manamorphose, at ditching these extra lands, because realistically you don't need to play a land on turn 2 in most games. So Faithless Looting's here to just discard lands. And help dig further into your deck at a very low mana cost. And that's the nice thing about looting, is that it is so cheap that the card disadvantage doesn't often matter, which is fairly nice. You can also discard a Rite of Flame to it, so that way you do get the discard advantage there from Rite being in the graveyard. Builds up threshold for Cabal Ritual as well. It's just a nice glue card in general. Rite of Flame, Legacy staple. I love you, Rite of Flame. At least I still get to play you here for like a couple weeks probably. Cabal Rit is obviously very strong in Pauper. And a question that I've been asked a lot in these last few days is, Bryant, are you going to play Goblin Electromancer or even the new Goblin? It's the red-green Goblin Electromancer. I don't know its name, I'm sorry. But there's no reason to play those effects when you have the best mana in the format. Like, we're not playing Modern. The mana here is degenerate. We have Lotus Petal, Dark Ritual, Rite of Flame. These are cards that aren't legal in Modern. Like, they're truly broken, and you don't need a cost reducer for Cabal Ritual. Seething Song is banned in Modern. Like, your mana here is just so good. Manamorphose is probably going to be banned in Modern in the next year. So we just have a lot of banned in Modern cards. Simian Spirit Guide. So yeah, like, you just don't need those effects. Whisper is just here to draw through your deck. It's easier to cast than Sign in Blood, which has some upside. That way you can filter your mana once again. First Day of Class. So this card is crucial. So the first half of First Day of Class is that it turns your Squirrels into 2/2s. So think of the card that's most likely going to be sideboarded against you. It's Electrickery. The way that First Day of Class in Chatterstorm works is that You cast first day of class, and then you play Chatterstorm. Every token enters individually. So it creates a first day of class trigger, and then the next copy of Chatterstorm resolves. So you never have a bunch of 1/1s in play at a time. You always have 2/2s and then a new 1/1 about to become a 2/2. So Electrickery is actually not very good against this deck because of first day of class, and it helps you beat sweepers in that manner. It's just really nice. And it gives your squirrels haste so you can win the same turn. It's a goblin bushwhacker that is better on your mana, which is just beautiful. But it's even better than Goblin Bushwhacker. It has the ability to learn, which can get introduction to prophecy from the sideboard, a fairly expensive preordain on your combo turn. If you end up with a lot of mana, this is what you go for. That said, learn has another ability. You can rummage, which is discard a card from your hand, draw a card. It's a looting! Part of your combo that wins the game also lets you loot. It's broken. First day of class is bananas. I originally was only playing 2 until the learn part really kicked into my head, and I was like, why am I not maximizing my copies of First Day of Class? Another nice thing about First Day of Class is sometimes you can stack them, so you'll play one and then another, and then you only need Storm 5. Actually, that's not enough, but that's not 20. Probably should have counted that first. But you're allowed to win with less Storm, which is my main point. 7 would actually be the correct number there. But yeah, less Storm, 3/3s, even avoid Fiery Cannonade, which is the sweeper people should be playing if you're trying to beat this deck, because 2 damage will often kill an army of squirrels, where Electrickery won't. So if you're trying to beat this deck, Fiery Cannonade is where you want to be. Yeah, and then obviously the namesake of the deck, Chatterstorm, SquirrelStorm, makes squirrels. The best storm win condition in the format. I wouldn't expect this to be legal longer than a month, but I would be happy if I was wrong. This card is just bananas. Manamorphose, everyone knows what this card does, but the big thing it does in this deck is color fix. The draw isn't as important, but once again, color fixing our rituals, and then more degenerate mana, and then Street Wraith is just a free draw. We're playing a 56 card deck essentially, and you might be thinking like, I might play Sign and Blood in that slot. Sure. You're welcome to do that. I just like that it doesn't cost you any mana, which allows you to be faster. And the board. Serpentine Curve, I've mentioned this previously. This is my answer to people boarding in a bunch of Fiery Cannonade. If you're going to do that, I'm going to hit you with a 12/12 Hasting Serpent. Like, seems pretty good. It dodges a lot of the hate that people are going to try to bring in to beat you. And you don't need to play a bunch of spells in one turn. So if you wanted to, you could just set up a turn where you play this Protected by Duress and Pyroblast, and do that. Or you play First Day of Class into double Serpent, and then that could do it. You don't need to win every game on turn 2. The games that I'm expecting to win with Serpentine Curve are going to be a little bit slower, but it does beat sweepers, so it's a fair trade-off in my opinion. Duress can discard sweepers, which is pretty nice. Yeah, that's what I have to say about that. It's just bananas. And then Pyroblast works really well when running Simian Spirit Guide. It's been over a decade since I've probably Monkey Blasted someone. I have fond memories of opening up Simian Spirit Guide Pyroblast at GP Flash in like 2008 or 9 and still not winning because that deck was so bananas. So it's fun playing Monkey Blast once again. 2 copies of Flaring Pain. So one of the few weaknesses that this deck has is if people board into Fog, into Moment's Peace to buy enough time to win the game. Flaring Pain gets through that. You can also discard it to looting or First Day of Class to draw. It's fairly versatile. I originally had 2 copies in this deck list of Electrickery myself, and then I realized, like, why would I play that? It's actually not good. Let's get a second copy of Flaring Pain in there, and then a 4th Serpentine Curve. And I've been happy with this change so far. I've also tested 3 Weather the Storm for the Burn matchup, but we're just faster than Burn. Like, we're killing turn 2, turn 3. Like, we actually probably don't need this slot, but it doesn't hurt to have. Yeah, so that's the deck tech. If you have any suggestions to make it better, hit me up. I'm working by myself on this for the most part so far, but I feel like I've made a lot of progress in 2 days because that's how much I've spent on this. I played a ton in the practice room. I just got my Chatterstorm today, so I haven't played any leagues yet, but I've been, goldfishing a ton, And a lot of this, it's been running smoothly. Like I've been trying to win every game on turn 2 when goldfishing or in the practice room, and it's been pretty good. And that's sometimes forcing myself to win when I could just pass. So I'm expecting to do well today. I don't think the format's ready for a deck this broken, and I hope that stays true. All right, so I'm going to chill for a second and then we can get into our games. So if you want to support this content, you can always submit your combo deck or your version of SquirrelStorm. I'll play your version if you think it's better. Just submit it to theepicstorm.com/donation decks. That's where you do that. We have 3 wonderful tiers for you to choose from. Don't forget, if you sign up for the super tier, you get a percentage off of merchandise from the shop. It's super good value, and I'll work with you to make your deck better. And then I was talking about merchandise. You can always just go directly to theepicstorm.com/shop and get that merch yourself. You know, I'm always talking about how the Storm 20 baseball tee is my favorite item in the shop. It's summertime. It's perfect. Pick one up. That or a pint glass or a token pack. They're the 3 fan favorites. And always, you're welcome to subscribe. I would greatly appreciate that. And if you're already subscribed, like and comment. Show your support to the Combo Cabal. Join us. Yeah, so I hope you're ready to kill people with angry squirrels today, because that's where we're going. I will see you in round number 1. Don't go anywhere. Welcome to round number 1. We are facing GiorgioCombo. I would have to guess that we're playing the SquirrelStorm mirror, but I don't really know, so we're just going to try to keep good hands. Yeah, we'll keep this. We have a Chatterstorm. We have looting. Like, this hand's not amazing, but it's fine. We have, like, the big thing with this deck is often finding your Chatterstorms, and this hand already has one. We have Lotus Petal for our black mana for Cabal Ritual, which is another big upside. No reason to cycle Street Wraith yet. We can do that next turn. And it looks like it is the Chatterstorm mirror. Is it go time? I think so. Alright, so that's 5 cards in the graveyard. I want to Whisper first, but it's, I guess Whisper first doesn't matter. So it's going to be... Let me think about this. We have 5 mana. We'll go to 3 mana with Whisper. Yeah, it's fine. So that's 6. I just want to make sure that I'm doing everything correctly. So I can Seething Song here, which would be spell number 7. Morphos would make green-black. Yep, that works. So we're just looking for first day of class at this point. I don't need to cast rituals before this, so there it is. And that should be game. Turn 2 on the play. Or really expensive preordain. It didn't matter. I can make an extra squirrel if I drew a red card here. Woo, woo! Turn 2 in our first game. SquirrelStorm, what's up? Deck's broken. Love to see it. So there's like 2 sort of mindsets you can have here. And the first is like, hey, we're going to just keep our deck being the most efficient thing possible. And the second thing is you should board in duress. Well, in our build, excuse me, we don't have, like, we're going to assume our opponent's going to try to turn to us on the play, which means that we would have to burn a Lotus Petal on turn 1 to duress them. So I think, like, on the draw, it's defensible to board in duress. That said, you have to cut something. And that something is probably, like, 2 chromatic stars and I don't know. I think I'm just gonna hit submit and hope that we get to turn 2, if I'm being honest. It's just, I don't think watering down our deck is the right move. I mean, this is probably a keep. We don't have First Day of Class or Chatterstorm. They've mulliganed. I'm just going to keep it. Oh no, they didn't mulligan. It just says starting mulligans. Okay, maybe the chat log does that now. They just passed, which means that they're probably not far off of having everything they need. So this is an interesting thought on which land we play first. I think we're supposed to play Crevice in case we decide not to try to win next turn. We can looting off of the front half of Crevice. And if they kept 7 and passed, that means that their hand was very close to killing us. You have Storm 2. They've already committed, at least a little bit. Alright, so they're taking a move now. They're going for it. Two cards left. What are they? I mean, you went this far. You knew... Okay, so they have First Day of Class. Now they're going to play Prophecy. Interesting. So that's their green source. That's cool. Okay, so they're going to Chatterstorm for 19 and put us to, or for 18 and put us to 2. Which is going to shut off our Night's Whispers and our Street Wraiths. When I was testing, I found that Shred Memory was actually really uncomfortable because it's so mana intensive. And I don't really like environmental sciences, if I'm being honest, but maybe it's fine. It does require us to need an extra storm here. Okay, so let's go. Probably free to cycle this for a red to start off. Just see the most cards possible. I think we're going to come up short here. Yeah, I don't see how we win this. So even if I first day class into Chatterstorm here, it's just not enough. I could flashback looting. I guess that's a start. That's useless. Yeah, this just isn't good enough. Alright. Game 3. SquirrelStorm is everywhere. So we're on the play. We could side in Duress, or we can make sure that our deck is just as efficient as possible. The problem is, like, I just don't know if I even want to board. Yeah, I'm just going to hit resubmit. Like, I just don't think that Duress is actually for the mirror. I think you just want to be faster. Because one of the ways that you fizzle with this deck is just, like, not drawing, uh, you know, your action cards. And what happens when we invest all of our rituals into trying to combo one turn, and then I draw Duress instead of Chromatic Star, and I can't keep churning through my deck or creating enough Storm. But we're on the play. Hopefully we get it. Our opponent did us a favor, too, by passing the turn there. Looks like they're thinking about their board plan a little bit more. So something you could do with this deck is not play Sulfur Vent and only play Crevice, and then play like 3 swamps and a forest here, and then you could play that card that they just played out of their board to help fix your mana. Or you could play like 2 swamps, 1 mountain, and a forest. There's a possibility. This seems fine. We'll try this. Our opponent actually mulliganed this time. Alright, they've kept 6. Alright, so am I trying to win this turn? It's the question. We have 4 draws right here. We're probably dead if we pass. That's good. Okay, making me feel a little bit more confident. Well, that's not great. We still have to find Chatterstorm. So Sulfur Vent's a free discard. And then we're only going to have one red with this chromatic star. So I think that's right. I'm not sure though. So now we have Threshold. We can cast this. I think it might have just fizzled. So it's probably better to get this here because we have the mana to cast it rather than a rummage. Was that enough? I think that's lethal. 8, 9, 10. Yep. Wow. How lucky. Ding, 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 ding. Turn 2s. Just exchanging turn 2s. Woot! All right, we're 1-0 over the SquirrelStorm mirror. It's pretty sweet. I will see you in round number 2. I'm expecting to win a lot more in this league. Hopefully I'm not wrong. What happened in round number 1? We won the die roll and then we won the match. We've won another die roll. Feeling pretty good about this. All right, so this is a tiny bit awkward because we don't have black mana to get going here. That said, I'm not going to ship this hand. This hand is close enough, and I think, you know, we just play it by ear, see what happens. You also don't need to win every game on turn 2, which is just another thought. Okay. Do I want to pitch Spirit Guide to cast Looting? I think the answer is yes. Okay, so let's think about this. Because I can cast Dark Ritual off of Sulfur Vent, and then Samine Spirit Guide into Seething Song. So will we get Threshold? So let's say, I'm pretty sure I want to discard this Looting. So that's the first card I want to discard. So that's going to put 3 cards to the graveyard. Sulfur Vent will be number 4. Dark Ritual will be 5. I'm not hitting Threshold. So instead I'm going to discard Cabal Ritual. Actually, Sulfur Vent wasn't going to the graveyard, so that's even another reason to discard the Cabal Ritual. Maybe this was too aggressive. Nope, always had it. Hopefully 9 squirrels will be enough. If they suit up this Vault Scourge, it might not be. If I had to guess, this is mono green aggro. And it is. Missed their land drop. Alright, so they're going to block 1, take 8, and go to 11. See what they do here. So they're guaranteed another turn right now. And they wisely only attacked with the Scourge. So the clock doesn't change right now based on this 1 damage. If they have like a pump spell, that could always change in the future. But this doesn't actually change the clock with this attack. So they're going to take 6 now. So as of right now, what we have isn't enough. So they take 6 and go to 6. Next turn they would block. Let's say nothing else happens. They would block and take 4, and we lose this race. So we're going to need another Chatterstorm. They probably should have attacked with the Nettle Sentinel. Alright, I think I'm going to cycle this to see what I can do. There's no point in attacking here, so we're just going to pass. Do we have 1 more looting in the graveyard? Can't block. Might actually lose this. Another Volt Scourge, okay. So next turn they have 6 unblockable. So if they tap forest, play forest, kick vines, we're dead. So I'm going to play out the Crevice and pass. So the Crevice is actually pretty important because it gives us a green mana. And if we're going to win, we realistically need to head a first day of class into Chatterstorm. So this green mana was one of the bottlenecks that we had. And it looks like they don't have the line that I discussed. I'm just going to block like that. Because if their creature dies, they could get like Morbid Triggers or something, and I don't want to have to deal with that. So right now our action spell is the Faithless Looting in the graveyard. I did think about holding the Crevice for a card to discard to looting, but I think the green mana is more important than an extra card to discard. Well, there's first day of class. That's step 1. So now we have to find Chatterstorm. There's 3 left in the deck. So this is 1 mana that makes 3 or 3 for 5. Casting either of these is the same effect. And actually, we're winning or losing this turn, so I'm just going to sack that land as well. Alright, we did not hit Chatterstorm. So what should we do from here? Discarding Lotus Petal, I think, is pretty free. My issue with keeping Faithless Looting is that it just puts you down a card. So I think it's actually just better to discard Seething Song to first day of class and hope to hit your Chatterstorm. Actually, no, that's not correct. I can get Introduction to Prophecy. I think that's actually better. So this will bring us up to 5-7, which is exactly enough to do everything we need. So we have to find it off of Prophecy if we're going to win this. We have 3 looks right here. Nope. Womp womp. Okay, we lost. It's fine. I might have forced it too early right there. Who knows? You might be thinking like Bryant, they're an aggro deck board and weather the storm. Once again, I think our deck is optimized for doing what we do best. There's no reason to board in weather the storm and ruin that. I think we just want to stay efficient and do what we do. So I'm not going to board. If you really feel passionately about it, you can take out 2 Street Wraith for the 2 weather, but I don't think that's correct. Trying to think, like, would you want to board in Serpentine Curve? Probably not, because this could essentially be the Abyss against them. But they play so many small creatures that they don't mind just throwing away. And we're hoping that the mono green deck doesn't have any sweepers in it. And they're not likely to have an effect like Fog or Moment's Peace, so no reason to board in Flaring Pain. Seems fine to me. This could be a hand where we play it a little bit slower. Also, the chat log's messing me up. It said I mulligan, and I was like, what? I don't think I mulligan the hand. So the chat log's definitely messed up right now. Alright, let's see if we can hit land 2. Or just like enough gas to go off. But I think I'm just going to play Star here and pass. We don't have a whole lot of mana, so I don't want to force it yet. Okay, so is this go time? Once again, we're light on mana. So I can sack this, I can Rite of Flame. I think I'm going to go for it. Dark Ritual, come on. This is so risky. Part of me wants to Night's Whisper here, but I don't know if that's correct. Because at least if I'm looting and I hit like an SSG, I can still backdoor first day class into Chatterstorm, which I think is slightly better. That's disappointing. Probably should have passed the turn. Okay, so I think I'm going to start planning. Like, I don't really want a Chatterstorm for 4, so I think I'm going to start planning for the future and just have this game go longer. And part of that is I think I'm just going to Whisper and pass here. Just didn't hit any mana off that. Alright, so we're going to 11. I mean, I think based on their draw, we have a little bit of time right now. Where were you last turn? It's also like not really a draw I want at this stage in the game because we want spells that create storm, and this just doesn't do that. So we're going to 8 here. We are dead to double, what is it called? Vines. And now next turn we're dead to the sacrifice target creature gets 3/1/1 counters on it, I think it is. So I think we just start off by cycling this. What can we do? One way we could possibly win this game is if we had another Chatterstorm or another first day of class. All right. So right now we have 7, which once again is exactly enough mana to go first day of class, introduction, Chatterstorm. I don't know if that's something I want to do because that's not lethal. So what I'm considering right now is, do I want a looting, knowing that I'm going down a card, but converting this into a spell? Wow. Okay, so that was really good. That might be game. And unfortunately, I can't F6 through this, so I'm going to have to um, resolve the Chatterstorms individually. I can auto yield the first day of class trigger. Looks like they're not F6ing, so they might have like a fog or something. All right, so we have 7, we have 15. They can block 2, which means that they'll take 11, which is 22 damage. Angry Squirrels, are they going to get there? Is there some sort of mono green combat trick that I'm unaware of? Hoping that there's no Moment's Peace. And we got the game. So there's still the 5-0 dream. It's still alive. We just have to win game 3 on the draw. Yeah, like who needs a sideboard? I'm just going to hit submit again. This could be a turn 1. We're keeping this. Turn 1 Chatterstorm? Sign me up. Come on, first day of class off the top rope. That's so tempting. I think we're supposed to. Come on, first day of class. All right, Dream's still technically alive. Okay. So this brings us down a mana, which I think is still okay. I mean, I guess it's Storm Count. I can double Chatterstorm. Wow. Turn 1. "17 squirrels on turn 1. What's up?" Sure. Give me all you got. Wow. All right, so I probably don't want to swing with everything. So I'm just going to think about this a little bit. We're swinging for 17. And uh, so no matter what, they can't die. So let's say they block with all three. They'll take 14, go to 6. So I can afford to leave like 2 back and then just like not risk death at all. That said, I can't imagine 3 cards they'd have in hand that would win. So like let's say they even have like the sack spell. Yeah, like I just don't know how they do it. So let's say they block 3 here. This is probably the safest attack in my opinion. Just like swinging out is like the chances that you die in the crackback are so slim. But why ever put yourself in that position when like this is going to be lethal on the following turn anyway? Like they could play 3 blockers here and it's still not enough. So once again, they can play 3 blockers and it's still not enough. So that block was free. Ooh, I did not consider Burning Tree Emissary. So 4 blockers would still kill them at the moment, right? So it'd be 6. Yeah, so 4 blockers is still technically lethal. So like Nest Invader. Okay, this should still do it. All right, so it looks like our dream is still alive. We're 2-0. Our opponent just said good games. Good games, opponent. They were very friendly in chat. I don't typically try to chat with too many of my opponents while I'm recording, but they were very, very friendly and good-hearted in chat, despite my sort of nuts rips. So we're 2-0. Dream's still alive. Let's see it. 3 more. 3 for 3 and being on the play. That's good for us. Let's do it. Okay, so here we have 3 redraws, a bunch of mana. This is a keep, although it's a little bit risky. That said, we don't have to win on turn 2. I know that we've been trying to, like go off as soon as possible. We don't have to always jam on turn 2. If we want to take a little bit more time, take a few more draws, that's also an option. Well, not in this matchup. We're playing the mirror again. Okay, well, I'm going to pass. We're not very likely to win there. Uh-oh. Not feeling good about this. Well, that's a good start at least. Come on, first day of class. Come on, Duck. Give me a first day of class. Not good enough. Just way too slow. So interesting. They're playing both Star and Sphere. I think the only way we win this is if they whiff. They put 2 on top, so that means that we're definitely dead. Alright. Game 2. Once again, I'm just not going to board. I don't think boarding and dress is worthwhile. And a friendly reminder, if you need help keeping track of your Storm and Mana, the Epic Storm Mini Token Pack. For $12, you get 54 tokens. 20 Storm, 10 black, 10 red, 6 blue, 3 green, 3 white, 3 colorless. Once again, you get 54 tokens. And on the back, you get 54 Goblin tokens. I'm sorry, they're not Squirrels. I didn't know that SquirrelStorm was coming. But you do get 54 Goblin tokens that you might be able to convince people are Squirrels. I don't know. I'm not your opponent, but maybe you could convince them. Once again, they're mini. They're half the size of a standard Magic the Gathering card. You can get those at theepicstorm.com/shop. Game 2. Yeah, we'll try this. The choke point here is mana. So we're looking to draw some Dark Rituals, Cabal Ritual, Seething Song, that sort of thing here. So another thought is like maybe 4 Faithless Looting isn't correct. Like I'm still trying to figure some stuff out, but I do like looting in general, especially for filling the bin for Cabal Rit. I'm just talking a lot of like if you wanted to fit in Sign in Blood. Come on, deck. Dark Ritual. It's risky. Come on, deck. Be good to me. Alright. So I think I'm supposed to discard the star here. I just want to think this through. So I'm going to sack Crevice, cast Dark Ritual. That's 4 mana. And then Petal's 5. So I can't actually cast Night's Whisper and these two, so I think I'm supposed to keep the star. Okay, so this isn't lethal, by the way. So if I had that 2 mana card that gets a land, we could get that right now, cast it, and then cast Chatterstorm, so it would be for 9 instead of 8. I don't know how much that matters, if I'm being honest. And, well, I guess it would have shut off their Sign and Bloods here, so that did matter a little bit. Alright, well, Sign and Blood is turned off right now. It's not looking good for the home team. So if they have their own Chatterstorm, we're probably dead because their storm count's already close to being lethal. Hey, we got lucky. Do I want to board in Duress on the draw? I just don't think so. I think our plan is to just open up a better hand. Not shocked that we faced the mirror twice, though, in the first 3 rounds. So I think maybe I do want that other card on the board that gets a basic, and maybe like a basic. Maybe we don't play Sulfur Vent. Like, I'm gonna have to just think about this a little bit, or like maybe we play 2 Sulfur Vent, 2 basics, like 1 forest, 1 swamp. I just don't know. If you have any suggestions, I'm willing to listen. This is awkward. They've kept 7. So the one nice thing about this is if we do get lucky and draw Chatterstorm, we do have double first day of class. So they're on the duress plan, okay. I don't even know what you take here. Is it Dark Rit? And they agreed. Do I want a looting? So I'm just trying to think out loud here. So let's say I sacrifice Crevice, and once I sacrifice Crevice, I cast Manamorphose. It's 4 cards in the graveyard, 5. So I cast Rite of Flame into Cabal Ritual. Well, no, I'd have the looting to hit threshold. I'm just going to pass. If I die, I die. Looks like they're going for it. So their magic number is 9 Storm because we cycled Street Wraith. Yeah, we're probably done. So introduction would be from 7. So introduction, their last 2. They've already cast the first day, so they just need to find it. Which means they already had Chatterstorm in hand when they played Cabal Ret. So us cycling this free rate didn't matter. But unfortunately now we're about to be 2-1 instead of 3-0. I do want to draw the top couple and look to see what we would have hit. So that would have been Manamorphose into looting. And then we could cycle Street Wraith. And then cycle Star. So there's a small chance that we could have won last turn, but the mana would have been weird. So that would be so we drew the petal, right? I'm sorry, I forgot where I drew 6 cards here, so 3, 3. All right, so we would start on sacking this into Morphos. And then right, looting Cabal Ret. And we'd sack this for red. I don't know if this would have gotten there. I think the colors don't work. Because we don't have Lethal Storm, and you'd have to double first day, and we don't have enough red mana because we were choked on colors. Yeah. Okay. Well, we're 2-1. I'm not going to dwell on this too much. We're still, running pretty hot. Let's just get the last 2. We lost a run, and then we lost the die roll. I don't like that. But this hand seems like a keep to me. Faeries, okay. Hoping our opponent taps out on turn 2. There's Ninja. Okay, so now we have our window. Let's try to make some squirrels. I'm just trying to think about keeping as many colors open as possible. But I guess it doesn't matter if I use this or Lotus Petal. Thought I added a red there. I must have added black on accident. Oh! Oh, I'm just punting left and right now. I got caught up by that, and then I forgot to sack my petal first. Yeah, it's brutal. Jeez. So now we have to hit Chatterstorm off this Night's Whisper. That's not good enough. I guess I get one redraw here. Bummer. We got a third through the deck, but no Chatterstorm. Didn't help that I messed up on that Cabal Rit. No, we didn't have one coming anyway. It's a bummer. Alright, so now our first match against the blue deck. I do want the Pyroblast here, and I think I also want the Duress. Okay, so in my opinion, you start off by cutting street rates, just like slow down a tiny bit for a little bit more consistency. And then I think that you can shave a few chromatic stars. Or actually, let's shave a couple looting. You don't want too many lootings anyway. Can't keep that. I think I'm probably going to bottom a Rite of Flame here. Just value the land drops a little bit higher for consistency. These are draws. These are better rituals. Would love a Chatterstorm off the top. And I'm fine just rebuilding. Alright, so Fiery Cannonade is now online for them. They're just on the pure control approach. I'm fine with that being countered. Is this it? So it looks like they have Cannonade in hand. So our goal right now is to win through it. We also could possibly draw Duress. No action spell yet, so I'm getting a little bit nervous. Echoing Truth, huh? It's all down to this Faithless looting. Hey. Shuffle. They shuffled, that's good. So if they have Ninja here, that was the random draw. So now they get to draw a card and then scry looking for another one. They put a card on top. I think we just lost. We don't have a red land. Maybe I was supposed to leave a squirrel back. That's a mistake on my part. Because Ninja can dig them an extra card deeper now. And they've found the Cannonade. Alright, so we're going to be 2-2. And me leaving a squirrel back didn't matter. Sort of a bummer. Alright, 2-2. Alright, the last match. Our opponent has a Pioneer Prestige avatar. I think this hand's probably okay enough. Another chance at Faeries. Let's get this one. This is a matchup where if SquirrelStorm's going to be a good deck in the format, it has to be able to beat Faeries. So, might as well start here. Excuse me. Delver. I think I'm just going to play it a little bit slower here and make sure I get the mana. Counterspell. It's a little bit annoying. I think I'm just going to cast Looting. Spell Pierce. Should I be trying to win here? Let's do it. Alright, so no payoff there. Trying to think if we were to reasonably try to win, how would that look like? Or what would that look like? So I think discarding looting's pretty free, and then from there you have to figure things out. So in my head I think it's the other spirit guide, but you'd have to go petal, petal, sack them. Like we don't have enough cards in graveyard for Cabal Ritual to be good. Maybe we do. 4, 5, 6. Alright, I guess we're going all in. So we're going to do this for black-green. Hey! First day of class. Mana short of double chatter, unfortunately. So I think you keep the other chatter so that way you can make a few more squirrels in a turn or so. Because it changes the clock. Because this is only 10. So we have 5, so now we can Faithless Looting. Make 3 more squirrels and hope that's enough. Counterspell this, please. There we go. Woot woot. We've gotten game number 1 now. And this looks like it could be Mono Blue Delver because there was no red for Scred. Like the snow-covered basics versus non-snow cover are a little bit of a tell. Let's try this out. I can't... I don't know if Serpentine Curve is good here. It might not be. But I'm willing to bet that their board also has some Echoing Truths in it. This hand just needs mana. Am I crazy for wanting to keep this? Like a tap land off the top would just make this hand bananas. Or even a Rite of Flame. I think I'm supposed to ship it. Be more disciplined. I'm going to regret keeping this, but I think it's probably correct. We'll just draw Dark Ritual for our first draw. It's fine. Dark Ritual would be so good. So if our first draw is Dark Rite, you go Petal, Dark Ritual, Pitch Spirit Guide, Manamorphose, first day of class, Chatterstorm for like 10 haste power on turn 1. Dark Ritual. So close. Chatterstorm, Dark Ritual. They're pretty much the same card. Alright, so land was obviously a decent draw. I doubt they're going to tap out here, though. So they have not played a land yet. No respect. Alright, let's see if we can punish them. I think I can just kill them this turn instead of needing to play Duress. Or actually, I can do everything. Alright, so this league is going to be a 3-2, which is a little bit defeating, but if you think about it, we lost to the mirror match, where we were also... I think we won the die roll in the mirror, actually. So we went 1-1 in the mirror, and then we lost to arguably the best deck in the format. So we got a pity chest. I want to go over the deck list a little bit. This deck's bananas, by the way. I do not expect Chatterstorm to stay legal, and that stays true. So in my head, I'm wondering if like we play that other lesson spell because like getting a basic actually seems pretty nice as a free storm um, in the deck because sometimes you do just end up like one storm short. So I do think I like that. I don't know if I want to play a forest or not. That seems a little risky to me. It might be better to do like one mountain, one swamp. Um, yeah, and then like maybe two sulfur vent, or like maybe we play two peat bog and just cut vent altogether. I just I'm willing to hear your suggestions, but I do like that sulfur vent fixes mana a little bit, but maybe that's just not good enough. Um, we didn't really face decks with lots of sweepers. We did face the blue red deck, but I don't think Curve is super good against them. They had Echoing Truth as well, which is not the standard. Like Serpentine Curve is really more for like Jund or um, Boros Bully or Monarch, at least in my opinion. But if you have any ideas to improve this deck, I am willing to listen. Let me know what you think. Maybe 4 looting is too much. Maybe it should be like a 3 something split with another card. Um, I know there's lists out there that also play Ideas Inbound. I think Ideas is too rough on the mana because then you have to balance 4 colors instead of 3. I'm not super interested in that. Um, well, like I stated previously, looting is also nice for filling your deck or your graveyard for Cabal Ritual. So I don't know if I want to give that up completely. There's just a lot running through my head when it comes to deck building here. Um, yeah. I'm just rambling at this point, so I'm going to stop. I hope you have a great day. Keep storming, and I hope that you get to kill some people with squirrels in your future. Hey, Bryant Cook here. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and subscribe, but also follow the social media channels down below. If you want to support this content directly, I would recommend going to theepicstorm.com/shop. And if you need a little bit of assistance with the Epic Storm to get to that next level, I would recommend going to theepicstorm.com/tutoring. Don't worry, there's more great content coming right up.